the idea of lower companions, although not super romantic, I think is really useful. And the first time I'd ever heard of it was from you. And I think that even for the people that don't have a substance addiction dependency, the idea of people who don't have your best interests at heart, who don't make you show up as your better self, the self that you wish that you were more of the time, I think there's something to take from that. And, I met across my nightclub promoting career, I met about 1 million people face to face, stood on the front door of nightclubs.
Sure, you met a lot of alcoholics and drug addicts.
Correct. Yeah. And a lot of people that, and in that position, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. outside of a nightclub, it's all the romance and none of the destitution, right? Because it's full of energy. They've got the girls on their arm, or their girlfriends are with them, and you see them go in upright and you see them come out horizontal.
Who's the guy who comes out last?
Yeah.
I was that guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the idea of lower companions, I just think there's a lot of people that listen to the show, and this is one of the things, like, if you want to make me cry by sending me a message, this isn't a request, but the messages that I get that make me weep or tear up the most are ones where people say something like, hey man, like, I'm a ice hockey player from rural Canada, and I'm 23 and none of my friends understand me. And when I listen to your show, I feel less alone. I can't talk to any of my friends about like what I'm interested in. All that they want to do is keep doing the same thing every weekend. The idea of self-actualization is getting a bag in with the boys on the weekend, right? And that is, it's a even more, in some ways, maybe an even more pernicious type of lower companion, because there's not even the red flag flying above their head. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad influence. It's just at best neutral, or perhaps somebody who's insidiously but very gradually undermining the quality of that companion's life. Like you, I also get a lot of those types of messages, and it's very meaningful to me. And I think what you're speaking about is super important. Of course, there's that adage, you're the average of the 5 people
podcasts you listen to. Oh, right, sorry. The average of the 5 podcasts you listen to.
Probably, right? But I think it is worthy of examination, this topic, because most people just end up in the environment that they're in, and they never try to be in the pilot chair of how they're directing their community. There's a lot of talk about mentors. I want this person to be my mentor. I want Tony Robbins to be my mentor, or Gary Vee, or choose your person. But the truth is, each and every one of us in our community is surrounded by people that are wiser than us in various ways, people that can help us. And the nature of that community can be crafted and cultivated by you with a little mindful intention. People are good. They want to help people. I know that I feel good when I'm helping somebody. That is my primary purpose as a sober person, is to help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And that is the source of my greatest sense of self when I'm in that process. So I think to the extent that you can engage with the people around you from a place of greater mindfulness and exercise some discretion about the people that you're spending time with, and not just go with the flow because these are the dudes in the locker room or what have you, I think you're getting yourself way ahead of the game. And listen, not everybody has a lot of high-minded people around them. And I think it's, important to note that. And that's why shows like yours and podcasts that are out there, I think, are so important. When I was your age and when I was younger, when I was a young man trying to figure out my way in the world and who I wanted to be, there was no internet. I couldn't dial up a podcast and listen to people tell stories about their careers or how they overcame hardship or how they did what they did. And I'm a guy who's embarrassingly well-educated. And yet that was not available to me. So when I'm creating a show, and I know you do this as well, I'm very conscious of that person who lacks community in their respective region, and trying to make tools available to that person that they ordinarily wouldn't have access to. And it's incredibly powerful. It's such a gift. There's an enormous library of people sharing their stories about how they did what they did, or why they chose this career, and why it's important to them, and how they think about their relationships, and what it means to, be a man or be a woman, and walk the planet with integrity. And those are the things that I'm always thinking about in terms of the conversations that I'm having. Like, I want to put out that high vibration. But to your point, choose your companions wisely. And if your friends are not raising the vibration of what you're trying to achieve, or they're just giving you shit and making fun of you, and whenever you're earnest and share a goal or a dream, they put you down, it might be time to upgrade. And that's harsh. And there's gracious ways of doing that. But I think it's important to seek out people who support you, and find older people who are a little bit further down the path, who can say, here's how I did it, or I see where you're struggling. Plenty of those people are around, and it doesn't have to be one person. I think everybody should have a board of advisors or a council of directors. Like, I don't call, when I'm having an issue in my marriage, I will call one person. But when I'm having a professional issue or an issue around sobriety, that's going to be an entirely different person. Everybody comes with their own unique set of experiences and wisdom and, accrued knowledge as a result of how they live their life. And these are not famous people. They're just people in my community. They're friends that I've chosen simply, in many ways, because of the vibration that they carry, and the way that they hold themselves out into the world. And I can tell you, as somebody who's been practicing that for a very long time, it's improved my life in ways I couldn't possibly tabulate. Like, it is incredibly important who you spend your time with.